This fat tire electric bike runs on 52 volts, has a torque sensor, and a 5.5-inch IPS full-color dashboard. That's right, they call it a dashboard. It's called the Async L5, and you can see the current price linked below this video in the description box. But don't buy it just yet, we gotta review it first. And here's what's inside the box. It's got the knobby tread 26x4s courtesy of Kenda. Brake rotor up front is 180 millimeters. And around back we get these dual tail lights. The geared hub motor is branded Async. The other side reveals it is a 52 volt motor. It's rated for 750 watts of continuous power with peak of 1280 watts. And there are 9 gears on the cassette, a couple more than usual. And your power from your legs will be sent through this chain back to those gears via a torque sensor and speed sensor. Derailleur is a Shimano Alivio. And let's take a look at this frame. Per usual, Async likes to keep it very unique. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an e-bike built quite like this one before. Check it out, even up here it says stand out, stay original. This is not the only color option on this one. You can see the colors linked below the video in the description box. Handlebars have a solid rise. Let's see what's in the box of goodies. Manual, the usual suspects, except for it's Async, so you know, they gotta do something a little different. Here's the bolts to put the front wheel on. So this is how the front wheel attaches on there. One for each side. Get a set of Well-Go pedals. And of course it is a hardtail, a little bit of shape on this rear piece. There is a quick release to easily adjust the seat post, which does have a thickness of 31.6 millimeters in case you want to swap it out for a suspension seat post. Here's what the seat is looking like. Of course there is front suspension. The right stanchion has an adjustment so you can lock it out with clicks in between. It's got a lightweight minimalist headlight. And as you probably already noticed, the battery is entirely enclosed in this tube here. It is possible to get it out, but it doesn't just drop out of the bottom like a typical fat tire e-bike. Website has the battery listed as a Samsung 52 volt 20 amp hour 1040 watt hours of energy, 21,700 cells. And here is the charger we get. 52 volts charged to max is 58.8 and charge rate is 2.8 amps. So if you ran the battery to zero, it'd take about 7 hours to charge from empty to full. Up on the handlebars we get round rubber grips, a thumb throttle on the left. Here's the controls. Here's the big ol' 5.5-inch display. 9 gears on the shifter as mentioned before. And brake levers are Logan hydraulic. So let's peel this screen cover off and power this thing on. Oh yes, you have to connect it to the charger for 5 seconds to wake it up. I gotta tell you dudes, I'm embarrassed to admit this. I don't know where to plug it in at. Where do you plug it in? Oh, actually there it goes. It really blends in there. And let's turn it on. Connecting. All right, look at that display. So this is quite the premium display compared to what we see on a typical electric bike. Gives us our battery percentage up here in the top right. We get the day of the week as well as the time. Internet connection status. And some of the more normal stuff like miles per hour, odometer, miles left on the battery, and average speed. Let's tap the M button here, see what that does. Nothing. And then pedal assist levels are indicated up there on the top. You get 5, and it looks like it's adjusting our range according to how much power the motor's gonna give us. What if we tap on that button? Nothing. So let's hold the plus and minus, see about the advanced settings on this bike. That's not how you do it. I'm finding it a little bit unusual. It's not showing that the battery is charging, even though it is plugged in the bike. It is registering green light, which usually means the battery is full. It is plugged in, so I'm not sure if there's some extra steps we need to do to get it to charge. So we'll check out the app and everything here in just a moment, but first let me show you the size of this bike. I am 6'5", so I kind of make these bikes look small sometimes, but hopping aboard, here's what I look like on this bike. And the seat is on maximum height. This is what my pedal stroke would look like with an inseam of 34. Handlebars have a good rise to them. Now with the seat on minimum height, hopping aboard, here's what I'm looking like. Handlebars have a nice rise to them, and what my pedal stroke looks like on minimum seat height. Gotta get this thing on the scale. Whew. When I grab the brake levers, it lights up the rear tail lights. When I hold the plus sign, it should turn on the lights. And then I grab the brake lever, they light up a little brighter. The front headlight is now on, shining on that box. It's a small, lightweight, minimalist light. Also, I should mention there are eyelets if you want to mount like a rear rack or rear fenders. You get eyelets to mount a front fender as well. And brakes are Logan 2-piston hydraulic. Same exact hydraulic brake on the rear and a 180 millimeter rotor on the rear as well. Let's download the app. So after you get the app, you press bind vehicle and it'll sync right up. Then you register it. Boom, there you go. Pretty seamless. this. So it looks like you can lock it. No, let's not do it yet. I'm scared. So you can use the app to turn on and off your lights. One thing you can do, change your pedal assist on the app. Check out the battery. It gives you detailed information on the charge cycles of the battery, the temperature of the battery, state of charge, estimated mileage. You get all of your ride history, and there's some auto locking features. So let's try the lock. Confirm. I guess it's locked. So I wonder what exactly happens when this bike is locked. It appears to be working. Throttle works. Locking the vehicle while it is on will power it off. Use this function with caution. It didn't turn it off. I don't like apps on any e-bikes. Why? What is the point? Why? Just keep it simple, dudes. Don't make apps for e-bikes ever again. Wait, maybe you have to use the enable electronic lock. Lock. Oh yeah. Okay, so after you enable the lock feature, now it'll lock. So turn the bike off and let's see if I can turn it back on. Connecting, but it's not turning on because it's locked. So yeah, it'll prevent somebody from using it. On the flip side, maybe you could lock yourself out permanently. But yeah, after you unlock it now, the whole thing turns on. So you can see it is connected. It's got the Bluetooth icon there. So you can press the lock button here and it'll turn everything off. And then cannot turn it back on. I mean, you can press this power button here and it'll just say connecting and it won't turn on. So I guess, you know, if you lock it, somebody can't maybe swipe your bike and use it, but if you press unlock, let's see what happened. Oh, there we go. So boom, there we go. So I don't know about you guys, but apps aren't really my thing, but power is. So let's see what this thing's like on pedal assist 5. Ready, go. Oh yeah. You can feel that thing's got a little bit of 52 volt pedal. And it's only on 43% battery right now too. Check it out, here's what the display looks like. So there is a speed limiter on there at about 28. And one last matter of business here before it's time to play. Let's get a weigh in. Not for me, but I am 200.0. That'll make my math easy today. So the battery does not come out of this bike. We're just gonna have to pick the entire thing up, standing on the scale, and see what it says. 282.8. 282.8 minus 200. Whatever that is, I don't know. And on mine, for some reason, I don't know, maybe this cord wasn't plugged in all the way, but it was just showing a green light and wasn't charging. But so I just unplugged that cord and plugged it back in, and now we are charging. All right, duders, let's take out the Async L5 for a ride. Of course, we're gonna check our official range. Seems like after you connect the app, it works best if you open the app before turning it on. Connected, unlock, let's roll. So on pedal assist 5, it estimates we can do 4 to 5 miles. Let's see what we do. So here's about how bright those headlights are after I turn it on. And the rear lights are actually pretty bright too. So let's go ahead and see what kind of torque the L5 has. I'm gonna hop on the seat. I weigh 200 pounds. We're gonna do throttle only to see what it can do on its own, just using throttle. So it's a 52 volt system, 20 amp hour battery pack, pulling on us up to 20% grade. No problemo. Did not pedal there at all. And getting out here into the bright sunlight, first thing I'm noticing is this display is not the brightest I've ever seen, but it is giant. Let's go ahead and throw on these polarized lenses, see if it filters it out. I have not looked yet. Does it or does it not? Yeah, polarized lenses do indeed filter the screen out. Now there is like a protective film kind of thing you can put on there to mitigate that effect from polarized lenses. As it stands, I cannot see this display at all. Now we do have 9 gears on this bike. Wonder if you can change that screen brightness anywhere in here. I'm not sure. If so, it's not obvious. And one thing that's unique about this bike is it appears that level 1 is the lowest pedal assist. A lot of them, it'll let you turn it off down to 0 completely. This one goes down to 1. So let's go ahead and try it on 1. Now it is a torque sensor, so the harder you press on the pedal, the more power it's gonna give you in proportion to how hard you're pressing. And pedal assist 1 is very gentle, whether you're using the thumb throttle or actually pedaling. So you can actually like really dial down the power on this thing a lot. But if you do put in a good amount of effort, so you know, you say you want to extend your range on this thing a lot, it'll give you power. It'll bring us on up to about 13 miles an hour. Pull up my little GPS app here so we can verify that speed. But yeah, I'll take us up to about 13 and we'll feel this torque sensor out today as we go. But yeah, pedal assist 1 makes it feel like an electric bicycle. Let's bump it down to 2 and try it from a dig. So throttle only gives you maybe a little bit more power, but still pretty gentle on the power. And try the torque sensor now. So
kicks on right away, like as soon as you start pedaling. And yeah, it makes you work forward on pedal assist too, as it should. Like, you know, the lower pedal assist, you want it to limit you on how much power it's giving you so you can conserve your battery and get a little exercise in. First impressions, torque sensor is feeling nice and responsive. Actually gives you, you know, responsive amount of power in proportion to how hard I'm pressing on the pedals. Yeah, if I push really hard, it gives me like a lot more power. But if I'm just, let me crank it all the way into gear number 9 now that we're moving at about 17. And I can just touch on these pedals just a little bit and I feel, you know, it's just barely helping me at all. So feels like a very nice riding bike so far. Let's go ahead and bump that onto pedal assist 3 while maintaining my same cadence. Didn't really notice any jump in power, but if I start pressing a little bit harder, yeah, I can feel it's helping me more. I wish it did give us like a watt meter or something to show, you know, exactly how much power it's giving me, but definitely feels like a strong 52 volt system. Speedometer's looking accurate, 17 on there, 17 on there. Seating position is comfortable. I'm liking the flat seat. The handlebars have a little bit of rise to them, so this bike puts you a little bit up on the handlebars. It's not too aggressive, but you know, it's like a nice riding position. You're not like just straight up chilling back like you're on a couch or something. Let's bump this on to pedal assist 4, see how that feels. So it appears it's cutting me off at 20 miles an hour. So I don't know, is that the top speed on this, 20? Let's try throttle now. Yeah, so it cuts us off at 20 on throttle as well as pedaling, I believe. But on pedal assist 4, let's go ahead and slow it down and give it some throttle on 4. So yeah, it gives you more power on the throttle. I kind of like that, how they reduce the power on the throttle for pedal assist 1, 2, then you can bump it up and change your actual power levels. What in the world's going on over here? And let's go ahead and bump it on to maximum of 5. Now you barely have to work for it at all. Let's see how the torque sensor feels at like really low pressure. So yeah, this one's pretty good. Sometimes they're pretty twitchy. The torque sensors can be pretty twitchy when you're just barely pressing on the pedals, but this one on pedal assist 5, I can just barely touch on the pedals. It gives me a little bit of power, but I pressed on them a little bit hard there and kind of had me launch off. Now this is a hardtail and I have the tires on 30 PSI, so I can feel all the bumps coming up through the rear since there is no rear suspension. You could throw a suspension seat post on there, you know, if you're looking for the most cushy ride of all time. I think we could probably hop in here. Let's see if we can go faster than 20. I'm not sure. So no, it's cutting us off at 20. Hydraulic brakes are feeling nice. Just giving the spec sheet here. What's the max speed? It doesn't, I can't see. We gotta get going. So fat knobby tires makes it a little better. You gotta ride on the shoulder. So sometimes these class 3 e-bikes, they'll take you up to, you know, 28 or 30. You're gonna end up burning through about twice as much battery going 30 miles an hour compared to 20 miles an hour. So if long range is your goal, 20 is not a bad idea to cruise at 20. But if you want to be riding in traffic, 20 can be a little bit dicey. Okay, so website says 28. We got to get in there and unlock it. Dude, does that car register as a white car or a black car at the DMV? All right, good thing I brought the menu. You can hold the M button here and get into the settings. So we're gonna fix everything right now. So in here you can change it from MPHs, you can do, oh, speed limit, here we go. We're gonna bump speed limit, it's set to 20, we're gonna change that on up to 28 is the maximum, and we're gonna change, backlight brightness is on 5. Oh, we'll change that to, we'll set it on 5, that's the brightest. No, what the heck? Okay, so we'll put backlight brightness on auto, and that makes it brighter. And then they have auto headlight, and you can change your time and date and everything. All right, cool, all right. We should be good to go now. Oh yeah, that screen's a little brighter now, nice. All right, so let's give it a rip from 0 to 20, ready, go. 8, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And it'll accelerate you beyond 20 now using throttle only. And that screen is definitely a lot brighter now that I switched it on over to auto. It does kind of appear to be flickering for some reason from like dark to light. So I don't know what's up there. So for about the past mile, I've kind of just been playing with the torque sensor. It's very nice feeling. On pedal assist 5 here, I can just put in a little bit of power to let me go slow, but it still makes you work for it a little bit as you, you know, put in more power, and there's kind of a lot of like variability in how much power it will give you based on how hard you're pressing on the pedals. Even on 5, like this is about as hard as I would run a pedal, but it does give you full power now. 2 thumbs up on the torque sensor. As for the noise of the motor, this one does make a little bit of noise, so it's not completely silent if that's what you're looking for. The actual tires on this bike are pretty quiet though. And then of course, if you stop pedaling, you got the chain noise, or the sprocket noise, I should say. So let's go ahead and give 0 to top speed test, see how this thing will do. And we do have 9 gears, so so it makes it easier to keep up with the pedaling at higher speeds. Doing throttle only, we're doing 27. I'm not pedaling, but I can pedal. The cadence feels fine at 27, 28 miles an hour, but it just limits you right here. So there's your top speed. So we've seen how it'll do on the street. Let's get it out on the sand here in just a few. But first, let's drop it down a few gears and see how it does on this short little segment right here. Ooh. Yeah, plenty of torque. I missed the throttle there in the beginning, but plenty of torque. And going over this rough section here. Yeah, it is a hardtail, and I have the tires pumped up to 28 PSI, so you could run them a little bit lower for a softer ride at the expense of lower fuel efficiency on your battery. Let's run that back one more time. Actually, I kind of missed the throttle going up there, so I didn't really even get power until I was like halfway up it. What I was trying to say is the tires on this thing are like wide enough. So I'm finding this to be like a nice electric bicycle to like pedal. It gives you like a nice riding experience, but let's go torture test it on the sand now. So we'll crank it on up to pedal assist 5, feeling them boardwalk bumps, and we're gonna bump on out here. So we got the tall wheels, they ride over the sand pretty good. Let's see, can it make it through the loose sand? So I'm helping it, I'm pedaling it a little bit. Pretty good torque on this bike. This sand is pretty loose. We're on gear 1, I'm helping it just a little bit. So maybe if I let the tire pressure down a little bit, you know, we'd be rolling along a little better. But as we get past this extremely loose sand and get on down here towards a little bit more hard packed, we're pulling pretty good wattage right now, doing 8 miles an hour here. And obviously, if we get down closer to the water, we'll be able to do even faster speeds here. So just throttle only now that we get down here. So 4 inches wide tires, Navi tread. Got us cruising along here pretty good. And we'll do throttle only here for just a little bit. Get back on up here, see if we can, so yeah, I have these tires really cranked up really high on the pressure. And we're gonna shift down to gear 1, pedal assist 5, and skating through here. I wonder if the controller or the motor is gonna overheat because I am just throttling it wide open, torturing this thing. So the irony of tall 26-inch tires is the shorter ones you get like better torque, better leverage on shorter tires, but the taller ones, they're better at like kind of like running stuff over due to like taller leverage. So not bad. I wouldn't let this discourage you from buying this bike. It's a pretty torquey bike, but this is a serious stress test out here. Oh, this dude's got a sword. So let's go ahead and torture test this thing, see how it does on torque climbing up to the top of that 85-foot cliff. Of course, we're gonna take the 12% California grade up that. And after about 9.5 miles of riding, 52 minutes, we're sitting at 81% on the battery. Rolling into the loop-de-loop here, we can see that dude just straight up gave up. We're gonna do throttle only here and see how it does. So a little bit of weight. Oh gosh, we got a lot off here. And full throttle again. So plenty of torque coming up the steeper loop-de-loop section of the California incline. Not pedaling at all. You know, we'll do a little brake test here shortly. Whipping on around, starting from 0 at the base of the California incline here. Full throttle, 7, 8, 9. Does this dude have brakes? He's using his shoes to stop. 17, 18, 19, 20, still pulling strong, taking us up to 21 on throttle only. Make that 22 mphs, still pulling strong. Topping out right at about 21, 22 at the top. And we are rolling on 2-piston Logan hydraulic brakes, 180mm rotors. Going down this hill, 28 mphs is the maximum we can achieve. And coming in pretty hot here. Let's go ahead and start easing on them just a bit. These Logan hydraulic brakes actually feel really good. 180mm rotors on hydraulic brakes is perfectly sufficient for a bike of this weight. So let's get this thing up to speed and then slam on the brakes, see how quickly it comes to a stop. So that's about 20. Yeah. Get it up a little bit faster here, then slam on the brakes. So these brakes, they feel fine. Yeah. Strong brakes, and they feel smooth because they are hydraulic. So taking a slightly different way home, let me share my final thoughts on the Async L7, and then I'll check the final range. So a few things about this bike, man. One, it rides more like an electric bicycle than an electric motorcycle with that torque sensor and the 9 years on here. I find myself, you know, more likely, more wanting to actually pedal this bike. I found myself kind of running it on like pedal assist 2, pedal assist 3 a lot of the day. And then this big old display is very unique. Mine, for some reason, is kind of like going in and out of brightness. Not really sure why it's doing that. And then one thing that's really unique about this bike is the battery is like completely encapsulated, enclosed in the frame of it. So it doesn't like pop off. So I mean, pros and cons to that. One of the cons is, you know, if you want to pick it up, load this bike somewhere, you know, battery's just on there, you're not really gonna be able to reduce the weight of this bike. Some of the pros are, well, it's probably a little more waterproof because of that. You know, the battery's really built into there. And then the style of this e-bike, it, you know, has a pretty unique look. I think it looks pretty clean. And then top speed, 28 miles an hour. So that is legal class 3 according to the speed, but you know, you can't do it on throttle only, and then it does peak out over 750 watts, but what bike doesn't? This price on this one can be had for $1 shy of 1,800 bucks in the link below this video. It is on sale right now, and if you did decide this is the e-bike for you, if you click on the link down below the video in the description box, buy through that link, it would help support my reviews here on Tail Happy TV, and I greatly appreciate your support if this is the bike for you. But don't buy it just yet, let's tell I know and take the final range. I just figured out why the display was kind of going from bright to not bright. It's when I have that headlight on for some reason, it makes it do that. But once I turn the headlight off, it doesn't do it anymore. So just rolling back into the neighborhood here, showing 17.8 miles on today's route. Our 28-minute ride time, 12.12 mph on the average speed, and we are showing 62% remaining on the battery. On pedal assist 3, it says we have 65 miles left, but I don't think that that is quite accurate. So that's my numbers. If you do want to buy one of these bikes, click that link down below the video, buy through that link. There are some other interesting bikes that Async has, so you can just check the link in the description box, see what else they got. Stand out, stay original is the motto, and they do have some very unique looking bikes. However, if this is not the kind of electric bike you're looking for, maybe you should go watch this video.